Jump, Georgi, to the last part before the break. This is another overview of the entire course. More from a perspective of maybe a bit exercise operational or specific. What different situations do we meet when we are going to solve exercises? And that also then covers what different situations have we met in terms of what have we learned in this course. I distinguish between the basic computations, which was chapter 2, the probability part, chapter 4 and 5, and then the main part of the course in the middle, the statistics part. These are the 3 situations. I mean, whenever you do something like this, of course, it gets a bit simple-minded, because if you want to put things into a few boxes, you have to be a bit simple-minded. But sometimes it helps in clearing your mind. The main part of the course, as you've seen this, the middle part, that is increasing below. So of course, I see this, not surprisingly, as the main part of our course. Not so much, I mean, this is also part of the course. This is where many people get confused, especially in the beginning here. Which is the right distribution? Which one should I use in which case? This is a frustration that many have, understandably. And that's fair enough to have this frustration, but don't spend too much energy on that frustration. Because if you sample all the old exams I've given, you'll see that that's only a very, 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 very small part of what I'm testing you in, right? So if you want to optimize your effort and minimize your real frustration, don't be frustrated about this part, since I'm not putting that much emphasis on that. I'm not saying such an exercise could not appear, and if you look back, it has appeared, but it's maybe 1 out of 30 or something like that. In worst case, 2 out of 30, I believe. So anyway, when we do statistics, and that this is in a way also how I, as a working statistician, when I'm getting approached by people from Novo Nordisk or other places who want me to consult them in their business, and they have some data, they have some situations, typically, the first thing I need to think about when I look at a specific situation, and when we sit and discuss, tell me what you've done, try to tell me what you would like me to help you with. The first thing to decide is, of course, as a statistician, you, as the people to solve an exercise, you have to decide the tool to find. Now, I gave you a toolbox. And my personal toolbox, after 28 years, my toolbox is pretty big, actually, compared to yours. Don't believe, if you think you're frustrated, you should look at my brain from the inside. My toolbox is sort of scaringly big, right? So I have to decide which tool to pick up of my toolbox when I meet people. And I shouldn't show them my toolbox, because then they will be even more frustrated than me. So I'm the one to, I have to live with that. I need to decide what are your data? What kind of data do you have? Do you have count data, like categorical discrete world, or do you have measured data? Sort of a bit naive words here, but trying to give a signal of what I mean here. Is it the one or the other toolbox? Should I take my discrete data toolbox with me, or should I take my continuous data toolbox with me further on? In our course, it's not that bad, actually, because we only had one chapter on real categorical data analysis. That is chapter 10, the one with the proportions, the chi-square testing, the R by C table, the 2 by 2 table, the confidence interval for proportions. That's our count data, categorical data, discrete data toolbox in our course. All the rest of our course are within the big toolbox for you, is the measured data, the quantitative data toolbox. When you have quantitative data, there is another sort of dissection you can make, looking at the tools in our course. So this is only for our course, this tree here. Either you had what I call XY data, that is regression data, chapter 11 data, where you have two different things that you are relating to each other, or you have only one thing measured in the sense, but then it comes in groups. All the rest of the tools, seen from the sort of data type perspective, are group data. One sample, two samples, many samples, focusing on the mean or focusing on the variance, but still groups, dependent or independent. Groups of data. If we're in the group data situation, then here we were done, here we were done, here we were done, here we were done. Now, having grouped data, it could be one group, it could be two groups, or it could be K groups. Actually, I'm saying it slightly differently. I'm saying it could be one grouped or the paired situation. The paired situation we put into a one group thing by making differences. Or it could be two independent samples, or it could be K groups, the ANOVA thing, now we're to the ANOVA part. And in the ANOVA part, the last part, it could be either independent ANOVA or dependent ANOVA. Here we have the one-way toolbox, the one-way tool, the two-way ANOVA tool. Here we had the two independent samples tools. Here we had the one samples tools. And for tools for the different situations, usually include as well hypothesis testing as confidence interval methods within each situation, right? This was the whole course in 6 minutes. Looking at situations and trying to identify situation with the tools that we were given in the course, right? You may want to dwell a little on this one if you find. Maybe if you look at do exercises, have a look at this one and see if it helps you. Now, many of the exercises and the exam questions I give you are, the situation is already sort of revealed to you. So it's pretty clear. I mean, maybe it's even stated explicitly. Now we do analysis of variance. Maybe not in all cases, but many times it is. And then, of course, it's not so much finding overall the right tool. But this reflects whenever you meet data or situations in this course or in the future, this is a valid way of thinking. And then, but that's after the break, we need to be really working out there in the real world with this. We might want to extend these boxes to include more situations that we could deal with. But that's the other course part. Let's do a nice 15 minutes break now. I think we need it.